Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Steve Down. This is my guitar. If you're just joining us, we're in a series looking at 4 on 6 by Wes Montgomery, and this is the 5th episode. And in this one, we're looking at the 4th chorus of Wes's solo on there. And this week, we're going to be looking tons more at arpeggios. So again, last week it was about triads and arpeggios. This week it's about more arpeggios. There is some other stuff in here that's really interesting too, and we'll be taking a look at that. I'd like to say a big thanks to my patrons who've been really supportive over the last few weeks and patient with me, as it has been a try week rather than a bye week. And that's just to do with some things in my family at the moment. Unfortunately, my 2 sons, I've got 2 sons, one that's 6 and one that's 4. And one is suffering from SPD, and the other one we've discovered has some autistic traits. And so we've been having tons and tons of healthcare meetings over the last few weeks, and it's meant that I can't get in front of a camera and plan and record lessons for you guys. But I'm really, really thankful for how patient you guys have been. So big thanks to all these newbies that have signed up as well. John, Edvin, Alan, Richard, Chris, Midas, Jonathan, Tony, Federico, which is an amazing name, JD, Klaus, Mark, Dean, and JT. So thanks to all of the patrons, and thanks to these new guys that have signed up this week as well. Patreon is a place where you can go to get all of the transcriptions and the backing tracks from anything that you see on my YouTube channel. Everything is up there, and there's some extra bits there too. And in the next couple of months, I'm going to be restarting the monthly Zoom call. And if you're not on the Facebook group, then do go on there, because I'm going to put a little doodle poll on there to see whether I can find a time that is convenient for everyone, because you all are in a myriad of different countries across the world, which is amazing, but is an absolute nightmare when I'm trying to organise a Zoom call that suits everyone. So that's everything that you can get over on Patreon, and the link is on the screen below. If you don't want to do that, but you want to say thanks as a one-off, then there's a buy me a coffee link below, which is great. Definitely need that at the moment. And if you can't do any of that and you still want to say thanks, then you can hit the like and subscribe button. And don't forget to drop me a comment below as well. Even if it's just to say thanks, that's great. But if you want to engage in a conversation about something I've said, or get some more information, or like the other week, someone posted a comment trying to figure out which is the best guitar to buy for playing this kind of music. And someone actually beat me to the punch in replying and provided a great source of feedback for that. So thanks to whoever that was who replied. And I hope you got your guitar, whoever it was that was asking. So let's get into it. This is the 4th chorus of the solo, and let's have a look at the first 4 bars. Here we go. Okay, the first thing to note here, and this isn't anything that is kind of theoretical based. This is more kind of looking at the overarching kind of thematic aspect of the solo. Wes is using some call and response here. So you've got the first octaves, the G and C, and then an answering phrase, and then another one. Okay, and the second answer is similar but kind of ends in a different way, and that's a really, really great thing that you can do in your solos, is by having some simple call and then a slightly more complex answer, and then same call again, and then just end it slightly differently, and it's just like a human conversation. So that's a really, really great thing to put in your solos, that kind of thematic development where you're using call and response. And you'll see a huge amount of jazz guitarists, and to be honest, not just jazz guitarists, classical composers, some rock music, it's pretty much in all music. So it's a great thing to put into your solos, rather than it just being some kind of linear line all of the time. You can have something where you're almost having a conversation with yourself. So that's a great thing. That's the first thing to look at. The next thing to kind of observe here is the fact that the chords that are underneath, and the key that we're in is G minor. But what you'll notice here is this kind of B flat major, not kind of, the actual B flat major 7 arpeggio, starting on the A on the major 7, A, B flat, D, F. And that there at the end of the B flat major 7 arpeggio there, that C, that E and C, excuse me, it's basically referencing the C chord that's underneath. So if we put that together, it would be like a B flat major 9 sharp 11, which Wes isn't going to be thinking like that. He's going to be thinking more that this B flat major 7 is basically the relative major of G minor. So the G minor 7 arpeggio is this. And then the B flat major 7 arpeggio is this. And you can notice that they are almost identical apart from one note, which is that A note that's there, the major 7 of B flat. But obviously, if you play a B flat major 7 over the top of a G minor chord, you're going to get a G minor 9 kind of sound over the top of it, which is really nice and spicy. So that's cool. So that's like an easy way of kind of getting a bit more of an interesting sound over the top of a minor chord, is to take your relative major, which for any of you like theory nerds will know that it's 3 frets up, or a minor third up, and you'll find the relative major from your minor. And there, if you play a major 7 over the top of that relative major, then you're going to get, when you're playing that over the top of the minor chord that's going on underneath, I hope you guys are still following me, a minor 9 kind of sound. So here's an example of me doing that. So as I said, the main thing here to look at is the relative major thing. The 2 notes at the end, like I said, the E and the C at the end, are just they're referencing the C chord that's going underneath. And it's a really clever way of doing it. He's incorporating the G minor and the C that's going on underneath, or G minor and C9 that's going on underneath. And that's super cool. So that's the thing that you can kind of take away. It might be worth kind of maybe, you know, not stealing the lick, but taking that kind of idea where you're playing the relative major and then playing something over the top of the C chord that is referencing the C. Something like that, maybe. But it's a great thing to take away there, the fact that he's playing the relative major. Let's have a look at the end of this 4-bar passage before we move on to the next bit. And we've got another use of the relative major. This time, weirdly, it's kind of anticipating the chord that's to come. So what we're looking at here is bar 84 on the score, if you've got the score in front of you. But it's the 4th bar here. And what he's doing is an E flat major 7 arpeggio. Okay. And that's going into the next 4 bars, which we'll look at in a bit, that last note there. But the bit before that is an E flat major 7. And the E flat major 7 here is over the top of a C9, and obviously, like I said a minute ago, the relative major is going to be over the top of a minor chord, really. So what he's actually doing is he's anticipating the C minor 7 to come in the next bar, bar 85. And so this is something that is quite simply known as anticipation. And what that is in this context is basically kind of playing something that fits over the next bar, over the next chord. And that kind of what this kind of does is it stops you from having this kind of clinical bar by bar, almost box-like approach to all of the chords that are going on underneath. It actually blends things together, and obviously you're going to get a slight clash. There is a slight clash there over the top of that C9 when we hear that E flat over the top of the C9 that has an E natural. So you're going to get almost a kind of that kind of 7 sharp 9 sound, the Hendrix chord for all you rockers. But that's actually quite good, because when we get to the next bar, it then kind of resolves itself, because we've got the minor chord that this major 7 arpeggio is meant for. So anticipation, another thematic thing, another structural kind of thing, rather than a theoretical thing. Anticipation's another really good thing that you can add into your soloing. So here's another example, this time of me putting something over the top of that particular bar. So here's this. Okay, let's take a look at the next 4 bars. Okay, so like I said earlier, there's that whole idea of the relative major Okay, now there, over the top of here, this that we've just come into, you've got the E flat major 7 arpeggio going up to here. But this actually also, this note here, the D, actually starts a process of another arpeggio, which is the B flat arpeggio. Okay, and then go into an E flat here, but I'll explain that in a second. The B flat that's here, okay, that's being played over the top of a C minor 7 and F9 chord. The reason why that's there is because of the fact that C minor 7 to F9 is the 2-5 going to a B flat. So that's great. He's playing the tonic chord of that 2-5. Obviously, he's ignoring the C minor 7 and F9, but this arpeggio isn't going to not work. It sounds good over the top of it. And he references the F dominant chord by hitting that E flat 9 right on the nose of the F9. Okay, there. So that works. That's really cool. The next bar that we've got, B flat minor 7 to E flat 9 there, which is the 2-5 going into A flat, we see an F minor 7 arpeggio. Okay, now this is the reverse of what happened in the last 4 bars. Basically here, we've got a major chord that's going on underneath, theoretically, remember, because he doesn't actually resolve that 2-5. But the approach is going to be A flat major 7. That's what it's heading towards. And so A flat major 7 is what you play over the top of it. And here, instead of playing the A flat major 7, he actually plays the relative minor. So again, for you theory buffs out there, the relative minor, if you're coming from the major, is going to be 3 frets down rather than up, or a minor third down rather than up like last time. So F minor 7 is going to be our relative minor 7 chord, and that's what we got here. Okay, over the top of the there. So A flat major 7 is this. And then F minor 7 is this. And then here's an example of me playing something over this particular A flat area. In the next bar, we've got a kind of similar approach to the to bar 85 if you're on the score, or the first bar of this particular 4-bar section we're analysing. And we've got a G arpeggio. Hits the C again, but this, again, that C lands on the D9, which is the flat 7 of D. So he's referencing that D dominant chord. But this G, okay, is the tonic of which this 2-5 is heading towards, A minor 7 to D7 or D9, going to G major 7. Okay, so this is a carbon copy, like approach-wise, of the first bar in this particular 4-bar process. So again, thematically, he's using similar ideas over the top of these 2-5s. So either relative minor or relative major, and also using the tonic triad rather than trying to fit in some super uber quick 2-5 line that references both chords, which I don't think is a good idea when you're kind of playing fast-paced stuff. Okay, so let's move into the next 4 bars. Okay, so all of this stuff here is literally just G Dorian. So all of the lines here, even the little anticipation from the previous 4 bars, bar 88, we've got a little anticipatory 3 notes, and then the line. That bit at the end we'll come back to in a second, but the first 3 bars, or 2.5 bars, is all G Dorian stuff, and this is G Dorian. Now, the bit that we've got at the end, this is the interesting bit that I want to focus on. What he's playing at the end here, despite the fact that it's still this kind of G minor to C9 thing, he's actually playing a very clear C arpeggio. Now, yeah, we've got this F, but that's kind of like a little, just like a trill or a turn there, not in the classical sense of the turn. What he's actually doing here is he's referencing C over the top of this, and that still actually carries on even when we've got the 2-5 going into B flat. But again, it's moving so fast that small little clash between the minor and the major third doesn't actually really matter too much. But the thing is that where did he get this C arpeggio? Yes, you could say that he's got it from the C9 that's kind of going on underneath, but I think Wes knows his extracted arpeggios from G Dorian. Now, we looked at that back in episode 2, I believe. And basically what that is where you harmonize the G Dorian scale, just like you would harmonize the major scale. And so you come out with arpeggios for each degree of the scale, G, A, B, C. And on C, you got a C7. And the C7 arpeggio is this. And so Wes, I think, is drawing out that arpeggio, and it works over the top of the G minor idea. So that really works over the top of it. Here's another example of me doing that. Strictly speaking, he's not playing it over the top of a G minor chord, but it does work. So extracted arpeggios do work, and you can use them over the top of the tonic. So the tonic here is G minor, but you could use any of those arpeggios that can be extracted from the G Dorian scale. Let's take a look at the next 4 bars, the last 4 bars. Okay, so this is basically the B flat minor blues scale that's being used over the top of this. Okay, or is it? The first part about it, that's all B flat minor blues scale there, which is this. Now the thing that, like to look at here is, why on earth is there a B flat minor blues scale here? It really shouldn't be, because we've got the chord of B flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5, a D7 sharp 9 or flat 9, and then basically going back to G minor. But it doesn't use it over the top of the G minor, it just uses it over the top of the first 2 chords, the B flat and the A minor 7 flat 5. Why is he using that here? I think the simple answer here is the fact that it creates some tension. Now, this is the thing that you'll see tons of blues guys doing over the top of major chords. You can hear B.B. King, Freddie King, Eric Clapton, Robin Ford, all of these kind of blues guys that, Robin Ford's a bit more fusion, isn't he? But all of these great blues guys using the minor pentatonic over a major chord. And the reason why is because that juxtaposition of the minor third and the major third work really well together. So that kind of clash works really well together as long as you resolve it. And Wes does. He resolves to the major third there. So he resolves to the D natural there, and he does that right on the nose of the D chord, which is great. But also remember, B flat major is the relative major of G minor, and that's the key we're in here. So resolving to that D there is going to help your cause for G minor there. No, it's not the minor third of G minor, but the D does help as long as you resolve that there. It does help in order to make sure that you're not sounding wildly out of key. So just make sure that if you're using this approach, which is a valid approach, then make sure that you're resolving it somehow towards the end. He's not. I don't think he's thinking, oh, it's a B flat and then it's an A minor 7 and then a D. I think he's just thinking about this linear line here. It's really clear that he's doing that. I don't think that he's, kind of making sure that this note hits this chord and this note hits this chord. In hindsight, we can look at it and kind of go, oh yeah, the E flat is right over the top of the A minor 7 flat 5, and that's great. But I think that that line there, he's just playing that line because it's a really strong line, and then he resolves it. And then all of that stuff at the end there, that's all G Dorian stuff there. So that's all G natural minor stuff there. So that resolves it really beautifully. But this stuff at the beginning, B flat minor pentatonic stuff, that stuff there is basically just there to create some tension. So I wouldn't overanalyze it too much. I just see it that he's trying to create some tension with the B flat minor blues scale, and then resolving it to the B flat major because it's the relative major of G minor. Okay, so I'd think B flat minor, B flat major, excuse the horn outside. And then obviously we're into the next chorus of the solo, which we'll look at next time. I think things to kind of take away from this, really important that you know your arpeggios and that you know your relative minor and major for almost every chord that's on there, so that you've got some options. Think thematically, so making sure that you know how to use call and response, that you know how to basically use the same approach for a couple of different bars, like we saw in bars 85 and 87, where he used the relative major instead of doing the 2 5s. I would also think that it's a good idea to make sure that you know the G Dorian inside out as well, and also all of the harmonic triads as well. Look back at my notes on episode 2 and you'll see that there. And then also just tension and resolve, knowing how to set up some tension over the top of some chords and ignore the chord changes that are going on underneath, and then resolve it to whatever the tonic is, like we see in the last 4 bars. Thanks for getting this far if you did, and thanks for your support if you're a patron. Remember that you can sign up. The link is below and also in the show notes, and there you can get your transcription, your backing track, not just for this particular series but for any series that I've done up to now, and some extras as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. So look out for that. I'm going to try for a bye, but it might be a try week. But thanks for your patience. See you next time.